So from the top, yeah, the city of Portland is launching the Sustainable Neighborhoods program, where we hope to engage with residents in climate action here at a neighborhood level and building community resilience within our Portland neighborhoods. And so you'll see a little map of all of our Portland neighborhoods, and I just want to show that by starting with, we're inviting all of Portland neighborhoods and island communities to apply. And although only in this pilot year we'll only be selecting 2 of them, we do hope to expand. We want to get all of our neighborhoods involved in this program, but starting small. We want this to be successful and we're cognizant of time, like our capacity to start this program. Aaron, next slide. And so these participating 2 neighborhoods will host workshops or events. We are encouraging them to identify the different types of programs that they want to see happen within their neighborhoods. And so these could be anything from a one-time, one-day event if you're doing a neighborhood street cleanup or hosting a bike to work event. This could be a long-term project though, putting together like a laser drainage garden, helping establish a network of neighbors that share lawn tools and lawn equipment. You could organize a team of neighbors that help shovel snow for neighbors who might not be able to shovel their snow. Welcome, you're still, yeah. These could be projects starting a campaign to try and do no plastic July. And so this could really look like anything that the neighbors are really eager and interested. It may have some of their may have skills that they recognize within their neighborhood. And so we're basing it off of these 5 categories here. There is a brochure on our website with ideas within each of these categories. And if you go to the next slide. Throughout a year, these neighborhoods will earn credits based on their actions and projects. And so after accumulating enough credits, we will host a celebratory congratulations and recognize the neighborhood for either being a participating sustainable neighborhood or an outstanding sustainable neighborhood. So based on the number of credits you earn. So it's kind of fostering some healthy competition too. But it's really, we want to recognize them as a leading neighborhood in the city of Portland and give them recognition. And we're budgeting for signage too, so you can have some really nice signs to bragging rights in your neighborhood. If you go to the next slide. And this program has quite a few goals. We want to harness our volunteer power for good. I'm so glad all of you are here tonight. That means that you're interested in being involved in your community and creating positive change. But this program also, we want to utilize the existing programs and resources that the city has. We try and reach as many people as we can, but sometimes we do need more of our neighbors to help spread the word. This is an opportunity to build leadership within your neighborhoods, celebrate neighborhood pride. And if you go to the next slide, the real big goal in this program is building community resilience. It's so important to know your neighbors. There are many studies that show that knowing your neighbors actually helps you survive future emergencies and better prepare for weather events. So, I mean, we face flooding events and ice storms here, but knowing your neighbors and checking in on your neighbors in stressful times, actually, it can help us all survive future emergencies. And I think that's a really important part of building social cohesion here in Portland. And next slide. And so you're all here today. This was an important part of launching this event, was holding an open house to reach some of our citizens. We have some people zooming in tonight, and I hope people watch the recording and see some of our promotional material, but our application opens tomorrow. And so in the next slide, I'll talk a little bit more about that, but the application will be open for a month. And after that, we will select 2 neighborhoods and announce them on Earth Day. So save the date for April 22nd. We'll be hosting an Earth Day celebration in Payson Park with a few other city departments, some local partners, but just stay tuned for that. It'll be actually a really fun event. Go to the next slide. So how we will be selecting our first 2 neighborhoods to join the program really relies on representative neighborhood support. We want to see proof that you have reached out to other neighbors in your neighborhood that you may not have spoken to. We did invite all of the established neighborhood organizations, but we do want to see a demonstration that they're really trying to reach out to citizens that may not even know their neighborhood organization exists. And so ideally, you're getting a very inclusive, diverse group of voices that are interested in being involved in their community. We will also be looking at the projects that you might be thinking of, but I would focus less on the projects, because that's the next step. We want to see that you want to show up to the table and commit to this type of program, collaborate with your neighbors, collaborate with the city and some of our departments here, and have a plan for creating a positive change and increasing community resilience in your neighborhood. Next slide. And as a little bit of a backstory, we joined the Sustainable Neighborhood Network, which was it's an existing network that runs sustainable neighborhood programs in the state of Colorado. And I'm actually going to pass it to Troy because he knows more about this than I do.
Sure. Thanks, Katie. So the Sustainable Neighborhood Network, as Katie noted, started in Colorado. My colleague Jonathan Wachtel is the sustainability director in Lakewood. He started this concept of 6 or 7 years ago, and he started with a couple neighborhoods there, and it's grown to many neighborhoods in Lakewood. But the city of Denver saw that's a really cool program. It's really being successful in helping bring neighbors together. So Denver adopted the program, and then Fort Collins, which is north of Denver, adopted the program in Wheat Ridge. So they have four communities in Denver, around Denver, who are doing the program. So we're the first city outside of Colorado to join, and I would really like it because it's a proven model. We were able to learn from those 4 cities about some of the things that are effective, and if we have any trouble or questions, or if any of the participating neighborhoods have any questions, we can ask our friends in Colorado, how did you address this situation, or how did you handle that problem, or how did that project work for you? So, and the folks in Colorado are happy. They're really excited to work part of their team now, and they're excited to get questions from us as well. And Katie spent a lot of time working with them to set up the website. We have a website now for the program that you'll be able to access and learn more about. It's such, it's really a proven model, and I think it's going to be a really great fit for Portland. And as Katie mentioned, we're going to start with our 2 neighborhoods this year, and we really hope to expand it to eventually all neighborhoods in Portland, because I think we want to bring people together. And want to, as Katie said, we have colleague departments who have been working with the Parks Department and Public Works and Public Health already. And so if there's any of the projects that the neighborhoods would like to work on, if it involves some support from those departments, we can talk to our colleagues. And if someone wants to do a nutrition workshop, we'll talk to Public Health, and we can bring one of our nutrition trainers to come. And so whatever people are interested, the real key is we really want the things that people work on to be really identified by the participating neighborhoods. So we don't want to tell you guys what to do, because you guys know your neighborhood more than we do, and you would know what inspires people to be part of it. And it can be, as Katie mentioned, really diverse things. So even we'd be excited about a block party, because really the goal is to bring the neighborhood together, to get the neighbors to know each other across the spectrum. That's really, we find it's really important, just to get people to know each other and work together. I mean, it's so important to do that. So it could be, yes, we're open to many ideas, and I'm sure that people will have really creative ideas that we wouldn't have been able to think of anyway. But if you want ideas, we do have ideas to seed it. So yeah, we're super excited.
No, thank you. If you want to go to the next slide. This is kind of just, this is kind of taken off of our flyer, but it, I think, sums up why I might want to participate in this, and what I would hope other people might want to participate in this type of a program. And I do want to say too, although we're selecting 2 neighborhoods, we want participation from everyone in Portland. I think we might not select my neighborhood, but I can't wait to help Riverton or Parkside or East Bayside or Deering. We're excited to see more engagement happening in Portland for sustainable and healthy practices. So we do have on our Portland, Maine website, if you go to our sustainability department, we have a whole page dedicated to this. And yeah, as Troy mentioned, there is another platform that we'll be using to track credits, and you'll type in proposals like, hey, Katie, I had this idea. I think I need some help this way. So there's a whole system that will help to facilitate this program, but we're really just interested to see people apply and get things started.
And we also have one of our materials we've translated to several other languages, and we're happy to provide to people if you want to use any of those as part of outreach to other neighbors in your community. So we have brochures in French,
Spanish, Portuguese, Arabic, Somali, and Vietnamese.
Yeah. So those are all accessible too. And if you guys want to download those and share them with people in your neighborhood, we're excited about that too. And yeah, so our goal, so one of the things we also can do is if people contact us for connecting, someone calls Katie or emails Katie and says, I'm really interested in this. And we know where that person, they'll tell us where that person lives. We can connect that person with other people who live near them too. So we're going to try to be matchmakers and connectors to help people. Maybe if you're someone who in your neighborhood you don't know, we'll try, Katie will connect you. Hopefully get the conversation going.
Yeah, if you do head to that website, there's a really quick form, and I've been spending the past few weeks introducing people, and it's been exciting on my end. I only see the emails of it, but I do hope I'm establishing connections in Portland. And I do think a lot of people don't know that they have an existing neighborhood organization, and we're really hoping to lift those up. I think some of them have seen their time, and I know the pandemic did different things to lots of meeting groups, but we want to kind of bolster those groups up again. And if you go to the next slide, it's just a way, it's a reminder for the different ways you can reach out to us. My email all of our emails are on the website, but we do try and stay active on social media, although I totally know there's lots of people who aren't as active on social media. Which is why we're having events like this, and I'll try and do as many more in-person events as we can, especially when it's nicer outside. But go back to the previous slide. I feel like that's the nicest one up there.
So yeah, I mean, we're happy to answer questions or share ideas for people either on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, make sure Erin's attending the Zoom and can let us know if you have a question. And
yeah, there's a Zoom question.
Great.
Raise your hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
You may have said that I'm taking notes, but is the Office of Sustainability a new office in Portland? I haven't been familiar with it.
So not super new. It's really expanded in the last year. For a long time, it was V. So, Erin joined us full time in July, and Katie joined us full time in September. So before it was like we've had myself and a half-time person, and then during the pandemic, it was just me again. But now we have. We also have a Resilience Corps fellow, AmeriCorps student who is with us, Emma, and she's not here tonight, but she's working with us too. So. But it definitely makes it so we can. And I've wanted to do this program for years, but I just haven't had the capacity. But since now we're able to bring Katie in, letting us do stuff like this.
Scenario.
Yeah.
So I'm Jen. I live in Stroudwater, and my neighbor and I are both trustees of the Stroudwater Neighborhood Association.
Okay.
And let's say, we wanted to create a workshop of some sort.
Yeah.
So do you folks have like a resource bank that you go to on different topics? And are they located in Maine? Are they located in the city? How do you?
So a couple different ways. So if you have, if you know someone who you like to talk to, whether it be in Portland or in the state, we can try to make a connection. We may know them already, or if there's a city staff, a person in a department in the city staff, we can certainly see if we can schedule that. But yeah, we're pretty flexible. We do know quite a few people. whether it's like, might be an environmental organization, we know most of them. And so we could invite them to come on your behalf. If there's meeting spaces in your neighborhood that you have access to, you'd be welcome to use those. But if you need access to a meeting space, we can reserve you a room here in City Hall or another building, another city building potentially. So we want to be as supportive as we can to facilitate your efforts.
Yeah, we love doing outreach to, meeting new people and especially experts who can talk about some kind of interesting topic. Yeah, we'd be happy to put these things together. And also on the resource side, we're working off of a grant for this program. And so we do have some money, but we do want more of this to be as sustainable as possible. So seeing what we can utilize within neighborhoods themselves too, and seeing how we can make this program go along.
We're in the process of launching a living landscape committee. So this was like, when we read this notification,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Yeah, no, that would be great. Too.
Yeah, so,
So,
yeah, we wanted to definitely come, and we have our first committee meeting on Sunday.
Okay.
We got a lot of interest from
Yeah.
viewers to talk and work toward that.
So yeah, certainly like organic land care and sustainable landscaping is an important goal in our office as well. And so we do have context in the organic growing community, and so we probably do have some contacts and resources that could work with you on something like that.
So we have a question on
Yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah.
We have a question from Maggie. If you want to unmute, I think we should be able to hear you.
I guess I can unmute myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can, Maggie.
Hey, Troy, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. I have a question about the application. Let's say Katie's been doing great about hooking us up with each other from the neighborhood, but how does the application work? I mean, let's say there are, 7 of us who are thinking about, that Munjoy Hill should apply. Who submits, how do we coordinate submitting the application? Who's responsible for the application?
So, ideally, we'll be able to put enough people together that you can decide together, and maybe you have a committee, or maybe it's the actual neighborhood organization. I guess it's flexible, but ideally that we could get everyone together to do one application. But there's definitely room for lots of projects within.
Right.
So if there's a group of people who are really excited about one particular activity, and there's another group that's interested in a different activity, that's totally fine. They can still be under the same umbrella. It'd be great if you collaborate and keep in communication. So I think as they come in, or as we get more interest, as we get closer to the application deadline, I think Katie will be able to make those connections that you were talking about.
Do you then recommend that we hold off applying until like the period? Or, I mean, if the application opens tomorrow, but we don't know the full extent.
Great. I would recommend waiting a bit, unless people have really gotten organized in the last couple of days. I think probably it makes more sense to wait towards closer to the application deadline. We just want to make sure we have time to review them all and make a decision before Earth Day. So it's certainly not urgent to get them in, immediately. It's open. If you want this, it's open so you can access it and take a look at it and see what's on it. But it's no need to apply right away.
Okay, great.
they're
Thank
just-
you.
Yeah.
I had a question about the application as well. How you mentioned now in West End. Is one aspect going to weigh more heavily than another? Like, if you have 30 signatures but not as many projects, or is it more important?
I think the connection's more important, and then we'll just give you more people to think about what types of things you want to work on. And again, there's totally room for multiple projects and like one-timers and longer programs as well. But again, it's that getting that community members to talk and work together that's the key thing. So, and we're really hoping that we really have diverse representation, because we really like people to get to know other people maybe who live further down the street, or if you live in a single family home, maybe you get to know some of the neighbors who live in an apartment building down the street and stuff.
Yeah, I would definitely, weigh more heavily on neighborhood support, rather than the quality of the project that you want to plan. Yeah.
So I don't think we necessarily expect everyone to have fully baked programs on month one, we're doing this, and then month four, we're gonna be doing this. Like, I don't think it needs to be that sure. And people, and as the year goes on, I'm sure people will have even more ideas of things to do, and maybe there are seasonal things people want to do.
Question about communication and like how do you encourage like participation and then publicize events? Is that through like a leader and they email people, or is there?
Yeah, so that is part of what we're gonna have to identify based on the 2 neighborhoods we select. One of the actions that we actually encourage the participating neighborhoods to do each year is to build an outreach strategy. And so that's based on how outreach might look most effective in their neighborhood. And it could be text chain, it could be a Facebook group, it could be it could be all of those things combined. And ideally, I think I would find a point of contact within the neighborhood organization that they help me disseminate information. We'll absolutely use our own office's social media to help promote events too, so that it's also not just going to one neighborhood, but inviting participants from all of Portland. So, and the city of Portland too is a bigger umbrella too. I think they have a huge outreach group. So, and they're happy to help also promote this program. So,
Okay. So theoretically, if you had a program that was running in one neighborhood, it would be publicized in other neighborhoods and anyone could go.
Could be, if you wanted, if that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
We want it to be up to you. So the activities you're focusing on your group, and we don't want like everyone necessarily to come to that. But if you had an event that you wanted to invite the community at large to come to, we would be excited to help you.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you might want to keep like a books club a little bit more local, but yeah, a big
And some of the
project.
if you went actually, you can tell about the Sustainable Neighborhood Network page. It has examples of what other neighborhoods have done in Colorado. I mean, it's really the things people have done are amazingly diverse. A jogging club in the morning, or a reading group, or a dinner club where people like go and visit each other's homes and have dinner. And it's really eclectic and interesting. Some people do garden projects and it's trash pickups, recycling days. It's really all over the map. Whatever is exciting in that community.
So I'm Amy, I live in Deering Center, and I'm curious, so 2 neighborhoods will be selected, and then each year are 2 other neighborhoods selected, or how does, what's the time span?
So we're going to start with 2 and see, and because we want to make sure we figure out how to work with everybody effectively and what kind of staffing and resources it takes. And so we would anticipate probably at least 2 in the next year. We'll see if we feel like we could take on a 3rd or 4th, we will. But over the course of several years, we hope to have on board more neighborhoods every year, and eventually every neighborhood is part of the program.
Yeah, as long as neighborhoods keep sustaining some level of action, they're still included in the program. If things start to veer, we've heard from Colorado where they're doing like relaunches of some of their neighborhoods who have kind of done this, but so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And then I had another question. I know you said that it's grant funded and there is some money. Are you at liberty to say how much money? We're big dreamers.
So we had a grant for $17,000 for the whole year. So that we have to pay our friends in the Sustainable Neighborhood Network, a fee because we're using their resources too. We have a website and we have the tracking information that we'll use to keep track of all the things you're doing and assign points. And we have some funds to launch the Earth Day event, which is kind of our inauguration event. We have some funds for the end of the year celebration. So we don't have a lot of money but what we're really hoping is a lot of things we do actually don't cost money.
Right.
So having the neighborhood activities, and we can also leverage other city in-kind resources with other departments and our connections with other groups outside of this. But you know, in terms of promotion, we do have flyers, and we can print some of those things for you to some extent.
My name's Maya. I live in Nathan's Corner. I have a question about the incentives. I'm a little confused about just like kind of the concept with the examples you gave, like the jogging club or the dinner clubs or the whatever gardening coaching. Is the incentive the points and the signage and
Yeah.
like
So,
what would be the reason to go through the program rather than doing it without involving the office facility in these sorts of community groups?
I think. So you could do it, you could try and foster these kinds of programs within your neighborhood, and we would still absolutely love to see that. I think doing it through this program might give you, it is really more about like a city recognition and maybe utilizing some me and city resources. And so we're here to kind of help you and maybe spread the word more, or connect to other city departments or folks, but
yeah, no, I mean, certainly, I mean, there's different, you know, in Portland, there's some neighbor organizations that are more active than others, and some do a lot of these things already, others don't, and we want to try to bring up all of the organizations so everybody's being really active.
I don't want to raise controversy or anything, but I follow those next door neighborhood site a lot. And I read on there recently, and I don't even know if it's true, but how much will you be working with our own city to implement practices like the sustainable practices? Because I read on there that city council is trying to stop the city right now is supposed to not use Roundup. And there's someone on the city council, they said, that is trying to reverse that so the city can continue to use Roundup on public parks and places where it's too hard to keep the grass green without it. I don't know if any of that's true, but is this department working with your own city?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have no intentions of rolling back the pesticide ordinance. In fact, we're expanding this year. We're restricting like a lot of fertilizers as well, so we're restricting the use of synthetic fertilizers and actually organic fertilizer to some extent too. We want to make sure people are using that smart. But no, there's no plans to roll back any of the ordinance.
I didn't have time to check into it.
So yeah, we're really committed to organic land care, and our parks department is now 100% organic, and they're working on our open spaces, our playgrounds and the fields, even the athletic fields are now 100% organic.
By the way, I didn't say that. I'm Deborah.
So,
I'm with.
yeah, but yeah, no, that's not true.
I do think council stands behind us.
Oh yeah, so the council was very excited about this. They were very supportive of this program. We were excited when we introduced it to them. When they accepted the grant, and they were really excited that they were bringing this to the city.
Yeah, we have another Zoom question.
Yeah.
So if you want to unmute yourself, Maggie.
So my next question is looks like we're using a very broad kind of fluid definition of sustainable. So when we talk, I mean, because of course my first thought was, because I'm very active in the Portland Climate Action Team too, that this was a climate change kind of, environmental sustainable definition, but we're talking about like dinner clubs and book clubs and things like that. So, is there a particular sort of emphasis on climate, or is that just one thing with, I guess I'm trying to figure out what sustainable means in terms of how does a dinner club neighborhood more sustainable? It's not I'm not being provocative. I'm trying to understand.
That's a great question. So in terms of activities in the community, you certainly hope people will do things that improve the climate or improve the environmental aspect of the neighborhood, like doing organic gardening or landscaping, or working on recycling, or helping people do energy efficiency. But also, I know our climate action plan pretty well, Maggie. So resilience is part of our program as well. And so developing social connections in neighborhoods, especially diverse, we're getting the diverse community to be more familiar with each other. As Katie talked about earlier, is a huge part of having a resilient community. Having strong social connections and cohesion makes us able to withstand, shocks in the future, storms, or adversity. So that helps us be resilient, which is one of the things we're working on in One Planet Future.
I would add to that too, back to the five goals, which is land, air, water, energy, and people. And so if you actually look at our website, there's a goals or target projects and goals and ideas brochure, and they have tons of ideas of what types of activities this program could take on. So a lot of them are climate heavy, but I think we maybe haven't been touching on them because they're not as exciting or eager. I think advocating for your neighbors to use heat pumps is equally as important, but it's not as hot and pretty.
I would also just like to add to the word landscape. I think that we have to think about that word differently. It's not just about planting a flower.
Absolutely.
It's about what is actually living in that landscape and what can't live there anymore because we don't have trees because it's all glass, which doesn't have any nutrient value to any of our wildlife.
Yeah.
So biodiversity and wildlife habitat
100%.
they are the bellwethers of what our land looks like, how we are going to be faring not soon after if we don't have some of the beneficial, insects and bugs and all of those things that create the food web.
Yeah.
So I think that when you talk about landscape or when you hear that word landscape, it goes so much farther, and it does go right into the climate. The tree canopy, the dark skies. Has your office talked about or heard anything about the dark sky initiative?
Yes, absolutely. We've been supportive. In fact, when we did our streetlight project, we selected all dark sky compliant streetlights.
Yeah.
In fact, Dark Sky Association did a story about our project.
Really?
Yeah, the link, we can share the link.
Great.
But yeah, that you're right. We totally agree with you about having a broader perspective on what landscaping is. So yeah, we're definitely, if people want to do rain gardens and wild habitats, we're
I'm excited to see what our friends in South Portland are doing too, with 100 resilient yards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys know about each other's projects?
Oh, we talk all the time.
Oh, you do?
Here's Steve from South Portland. Well, doesn't
Okay, we just, Steve, I do live in Portland, but work for Troy's counterpart, Julie, Sustainability Director for South Portland. And we just unveiled 100 Resilient Yards applications opened yesterday, and I told Julie not to look at how many we got, but we got more than 30 in the
That's
first day.
great.
So please check out our website. Essentially, we received a mix of grant funding to go in and restore inorganic, non-native front yard and green spaces into wild native plantings, pollinator, vegetable, and rain gardens. So it's a very extensive project with lots of moving pieces. We have a lot of partners, including a couple of the outcome-specific partners like Wild Seed Project, Mosca, the Humane Extension. So Maine Audubon is also involved. Yeah. So yes, lots of little intricate parts, but it's going to be a really interesting look. It also will provide a ton of educational resources for anybody who wants to take and use those forever, as well as some really cool front to back, before and after photos that we're going to be able to share of that anyway. And that's taking part for the next 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, I had a question. You've mentioned a number of times that you're looking forward to seeing a lot of diversity on applications. And I'm wondering what that means when you say that. And I'm wondering, you mentioned sort of spreading out and hitting different groups, different incomes, et cetera, and I have curiosity how you will determine from signatures what is diverse and what isn't.
Well, we hope to learn where, like, when people like sign up, we hope to know where they live, so we're able to see the kind of geographic diversity. But we're absolutely encouraging, people who are working on applications to do outreach, maybe in places, parts of the community where, the existing neighbor organization hasn't had a lot of uptake. And we're happy to again make some connections. We've already had folks from Invest to Housing reach out to us and say, hey, we're really excited about this program. And if people in neighborhoods where we have housing, we would love to connect with people who are working on an application. So, and we're going to continue to talk to different groups and different folks and encourage, because hopefully we can help you, connect you with other neighbors who you don't know, and help you get to know them.
Yeah, it's hard to define and also like look at, a list of signatures and addresses.
And it will look different,
Assess that.
and each neighborhood will look different too, because the demographics of the different neighborhoods are different. Do we understand that?
Last questions on Zoom. Stop recording and
So we should
Yeah.
say goodbye.
yeah, well, thank you so much. For attending via Zoom. I'm just so excited to see that there are people who actually want to do this program. So there's been some email conversations, but it's just lovely to see people in person and people who are interested.
So the best way to stay informed about what's going on or going to be happening is.
Yes. I would say sign up if you actually go to the next slide. If you like receiving newsletters, we do have a monthly newsletter. And you can find that on our One Climate Future page. So One Climate Future is our joint climate action plan that we joined with South Portland. So Portland and South Portland came together and set 68 strategies that will help us achieve our climate goals for the future, for here till forever. And yeah, I would say if you do have Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, follow us there. Instagram, we definitely lean heavily on, but always check Facebook too. And if none of those communications work for you, shoot me an email and we can think about other ways. I would be happy to grab weekly coffee, or not weekly, monthly coffee with anyone. But yeah.
And Katie will definitely help make connections in the neighborhood. So like other folks who live in, Stroudwood or Irvington, or well, Katie will we know some folks who are already interested, and we'll direct them to you, and you guys can start a conversation.
Yeah.
And Katie's a resource too. Katie's leading our effort here. So if you have any questions or want any more information anytime, Katie's the person.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Did you get good representation or feedback from a lot of neighborhoods, or have you heard anything?
I have heard from a lot of different neighborhoods. And so I'm really trying to find like the two people who might have reached out and said they're interested from like North Gearing. I'm trying to pair them. We've heard like, I really thought we might only hear from a few different neighborhoods, but I've heard from like 8 or 9 different neighborhoods. But it's really trying to be like, hey, you should go knock on your neighbor's doors. Like, who else might want to join you in this effort? So
And anyone who's here today too, if you want to leave your email address, Katie will add you to our list of folks and we can introduce you directly on that side.
So if you're only selecting 2 neighborhoods, how will the communication be kept? Like, will there be quarterly meetings even, or how do you keep the communication going and the interest going amongst neighborhoods that are not selected for as one of the 2?
Yeah.
And we have a pretty strong neighborhood.
Right.
We know we'll keep going.
Yeah.
But
I do think this program itself will end up having also a monthly newsletter. And so if anybody who has shared interest already or write their email down here will be in the Sustainable Neighborhoods Network newsletter as well.
Yeah, we definitely, because we really do want this to be everyone in the city.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we're able to support it and learn how it all works ourselves. So we're excited that people might be willing to sign up to be part of the pilot to help us learn how to do it well. So,
Could you just repeat again how someone on Zoom might be able to give their email and what neighborhood they're
Yes.
in?
They should email me at KTIMS@portlandmaine.gov.
which is also right, if you went to the Sustainability Office webpage, Katie's contact is right on the front page.
Sure. Thank you.
Great. Well, once again, thanks everybody for coming on Zoom. I'm glad you were able to join us, and we'll be excited and hope to hear from you in the next upcoming weeks. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.